Welcome. Welcome to that Larimer County show. Hey, Michelle.
Hey,
good to
Neil.
see you again.
Yes, good day.
It's been a while.
It has been a little bit, hasn't it?
Yep. And so we have a show today.
We do have a show today. Today we are going to talk about one of Larimer County's 6 guiding principles. And I know this is one of the guiding principles that you hold dearly to your heart. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so first of all, I was involved in writing the first group of guiding principles. It came with the county's very first strategic plan.
When was that?
1996 and 97.
All right.
Yeah,
and
it was a committee of 3 that actually wrote the county's mission statement and the guiding principles, and it was our former county commissioner named Janet Duvall and a former community corrections director named Paul Cooper and myself. And we took it upon ourselves to write the first mission statement. And then we did the guiding principles, and one of them that I threw in there that I liked was the whole idea of making Larimer County an enjoyable and fulfilling place to work. But I didn't say enjoyable. I said fun.
Okay.
And the group felt that fun may be misinterpreted by the community at large, that we were going to be having too good a time as county employees.
Right, no one wants the government to have any fun.
Exactly.
Right?
So I think today it would be more acceptable, but especially now with places that have slides and all these crazy things that go on. But so we settled on just being enjoyable.
Enjoyable. So the guiding principle is what again?
He can ask me to say it's a fulfilling and enjoyable place to work.
Right. So we want Larimer County to be an enjoyable and fulfilling place to work, correct?
That is our guiding principle.
One of 6 guiding principles.
Correct.
All right. So today we have with us 3 very special guests to talk a little bit about how Larimer County fulfills that in its day-to-day work. We have with us Brenna Straight. Brenna is our recruiting supervisor for our Human Resources Department. We also have Pam Marcus-Bowsey. She is our grant project specialist for our Community Development Department. Division, I should say. And then we have Sean Grogan, and Sean is our Senior Corrections Service Specialist for our Criminal Justice Department. So welcome, guys. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thanks for talking about our Neil's favorite Larimer County guiding principle.
Yeah, they don't like it when I dress in that clown suit. But anyway, I squirt my seltzer bottle, but sometimes I go a little bit too far to make it fun. I have to remember, it's not fun, it's enjoyable.
That's right.
Bring
it down a level.
Yeah, bring it down a level. So anyway, let's start with you, Brenna.
Sure.
You're our person who is going to help us recruit the right people for our jobs, and I know you had some time to learn about Larimer County. And so when you're doing your recruiting, well, first of all, what do you do? Tell us exactly what a recruiter does.
Well, it's a very challenging position, I'm going to be honest. We have a very blessed community in that we have very low unemployment, so it's really difficult to find amazing talent and gifted people. So it's very competitive. It does. It makes it very difficult to find great people and to bring them and keep them. But Larimer County does do a great job, and our culture is one of our most amazing I would say assets. And it really does draw people. It allows people to come in and be part of a family and a culture of really greatness, enjoyable, fulfilling, all those things that we do have in our guiding principles. So it's really a matter of advertising and marketing that to candidates that are out there looking for jobs. And so that's the most difficult part. And as Michelle knows, marketing and advertising is a challenge. And so really that's my biggest hurdle, is getting the word out, letting people know that we have a very fair salary, we have an amazing benefits package, we have lots of different departments with lots of different opportunities and skill sets that are required. And it is a great culture. It's phenomenal. And we live in such an amazing community in and of itself that we're serving this great group of citizens, and it's very fulfilling. So it's that messaging and that advertising of what we have to offer.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's talk to some of that amazing talent that Brenna was just alluding to.
Where are they?
Pam and Sean right here. I was wondering if you guys could take just a couple of moments to tell us exactly what you do and why you wanted to come work for the county. Pam, why don't you start?
Sure. My initial position with Larimer County was a grant coordinator. I was brought on board to address the unmet needs from the 2012 High Park fire and 2013 flood. blood. I have been, the position itself matched my experience and as a consultant and program developer, procuring funding and also doing compliance work and policies and procedures to sustain funding so that organizations could achieve their goals. Larimer County has an excellent reputation as an employer, and I was also particularly drawn to this position because the community that I lived in for 7 years, Glacier View Meadows, was directly impacted by the High Park fire.
Wow.
And so I was able to lend some insight to the position, and also just from my experience in living in one of Larimer County's rural communities, just having that perspective and understanding the concerns that go along with living in a rural community in this area. So,
Great.
and the position's evolved into the grant project specialist position because, as we found, there are many projects that need to develop into shovel-ready projects in order to be able to apply for grant funding.
So day to day, what makes your job joyful?
The team that I work with, assisting communities, those two things definitely. Larimer County is just a very collaborative, team-oriented place to work. And I think people really work together, not only for the organization, just to accomplish organizational missions, but also really has a genuine interest and commitment to our citizens and helping to achieve goals and make our community an amazing place to solve problems and just I work in the community development division, and in that division, we really look at ways of developing in healthy, just healthy ways of moving forward,
Right.
moving
And I
communities
don't put
forward.
words in your mouth, but in the division that you work, community development, people think of that planning, building inspection, the work that you do as being very bureaucratic and very regulation driven. And we do have regs, obviously.
Sure.
But I find, what I hear from a number of people is how that division is very focused on customer service.
It's very focused on customer service, and my observation in the 2 years that I've been with the county and in that department specifically is incredibly responsive to our citizens. If there is an issue, it might not be an easy issue to solve or one that gets solved right away, but it is something. There's always response to reach some type of resolution.
Right,
to,
right, exactly.
to
It's
benefit
not one
the
of
community.
those, here's what you have to do, and if you can't do it this way, go.
Exactly. There's a lot
There
of
are
thinking
people-
outside the box and problem
Right.
solving and collaboration to be effective and respond to our citizens and our communities.
Great. Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do over with the Criminal Justice Services Division and why you wanted to come work for Larimer County?
Sure. Well, I've been with them for a little over 17 years now, starting with the
Wow.
Sheriff's Office and then transitioning to Criminal Justice Services. I'm a senior specialist over there, and I'm responsible for the new hire training and the ongoing professional development training and certifications, which there are a lot of in criminal justice, obviously, making sure that
yeah.
those all get taken care of. So unlike these two who came with a degree of professional experience to their positions, I started working for the county because I needed a job in 1999. And came into the county as a local kid, grew up here, and really quickly found a place that I wanted to serve out the rest of my career. The work we do is important. A lot of people think the criminal justice is about crime and punishment, and our end of the criminal justice spectrum is actually about treatment and therapy and second chances and redemption. And so that's meaningful to me. So as far as being enjoyable, nothing makes me happier than seeing one of our offenders go back out into the community after doing their sentence and never coming back.
Good.
That's a big deal for us.
That's good.
I would like to ask you the same thing in terms of, you said a really positive one, having one of your clients who leaves and ends up being successful. Again, day to day, what makes it fun or enjoyable? I keep saying fun because I really push for that word, and it seems like I'm still going to push for
I
it.
think so. You're not going to let it die.
Enjoyable for you.
Right, similar to what has been said already, the people I work with are just fantastic. It's a tremendous team that we have over there. Our division offers a lot of entry-level positions. So as a training coordinator, I get to see a lot of young kids come in right out of college, kind of first jobs,
Social work degree. Or
social work degree or whatever it might be. And,
And
you
they're
know,
very idealistic.
very idealistic, but you know what? I don't know. I've gone to an awful lot of courses and classes about these damn millennials and all that. But I gotta tell you, these kids coming
I'm
out.
one of those millennials. I'm just
These
gonna
kids,
warn you.
these kids coming out are phenomenally talented and phenomenally driven.
Right.
And I think one of the most exciting things about my job is getting to train them and mold them and sculpt them into, 17 years from now they'll be taking my place. So that's awesome.
That's great. That's a great transition. I know one of the things we hear about in recruitment is that it's hard to recruit millennials, especially to the government sector. It has a reputation of being very bureaucratic and not fun or enjoyable or fulfilling. And so, Brenna, I have a question for you. What is Larimer County's reputation in the community?
I think that Larimer County has the challenge of overcoming that stigma of being a government agency. So that will never go away. That's going to be an obstacle I think that we're going to address no matter what, because we are part of the government and we do have regulations that we have to follow. But within that, we also work in this amazing northern Colorado sector, and we have great citizens, we have an amazing work-life balance, we have creative, collaborative teams. There's so many great things about Larimer County that I think do set us apart, and I think nationally we're a well-known county. And I think we can do more to project that and to advertise that and to get that out. And I think one of our biggest assets is that our seasons and our locale is so fantastic that once we are able to communicate that message to people, that we're not the typical government agency, we are really cutting edge. I know we've gone to lots of trainings and things to be innovative and to not be just status quo and collaborative and all those things that the guiding principles set forth for us. So again, I think for me it's the messaging and getting it out there, but I think from the perspective of outsiders, Larimer County is a great agency to be a part of. It does have that stigma, and it always will, so that's something we'll have to deal with and always address, but there are so many great things that we can talk about that are beyond that. So
And you indicated before a little bit that we're not just recruiting in Larimer County. In fact, that's probably pretty impossible because of our unemployment rate. So we're competing in the whole United States, and we're competing not only for a lot of different people all over, we're competing against or with
Correct.
a lot of people who have similar like positions. So again, I guess to stress that thing, what would kind of differentiate us from others, and what are some of those special things that really would bring someone out to Larimer County?
to be honest, Neil, and this goes back to you, our guiding principles are phenomenal. The 6 guiding principles are one of the greatest things that Larimer County probably implemented, and I had no idea it was back in 96, 97.
Right.
But that was a fabulous benchmark for us to establish and to move from. And I know that the county believes very strongly in those. I know Linda Hoffman really wants that to be something that every employee builds on and works toward every day. We serve our customers, our citizens. That's super important. We work with our teams. We're innovative. We want to be creative, and we want to be cutting edge. We're also very conscious of our budget, and we want to be transparent in what we spend and how we spend it. All those things, though, are good and true and right, I think, from a very general standpoint. And so it attracts a certain type of people. I know we have high-level employees that have moved from Texas to be here. We have high-level employees that have come from California. We have people that are coming from all over the nation because this is a very opportune place to be. And we just have to make sure that as the county, we're not losing them to some of the great private sector places that are available also, which we'll always have that too. And we want to build those places as well because we are very concentric and we want to be a good community. So it's both and.
How do you recruit? What are some of the mechanics?
Well, there's a lot of them, but we use a lot of social media, as you might expect, especially now. So there's a lot of social media. One of the biggest things that we have, and we will continue to have, I think, is employee recruitment, meaning people
Word of mouth?
refer their friends because this is a great place to work. There's a great balance. Everything's fantastic. And so that's one of the best things, and it's one of the most expensive things that a place can buy, but it cheapens it if they buy it. When what I mean by that is if a company offers you $500 or $500 to bring in your friend and be an employee, it almost lessens it because that employee now is doing it for a cash bonus.
Right.
They're not doing it because they think their job is fulfilling and enjoyable.
Right.
And one of our biggest recruiting tools right now is our employees, and we don't offer a referral bonus. And there are multiple reasons for that because it is a litmus test for us. If we start seeing that employees aren't referring their friends, that's a marker for us that we need to start addressing some issues or start being aware of something happening culturally. But we don't have that. We have a really great retention rate and we have a great referral rate. But nationally, we have to use different agencies for our different departments. I mean, the Sheriff's Department specifically, we have lots of different online organizations and agencies that we participate in. We're going to a conference to do some resume reviews here in August. It's just a matter of letting people know that we have opportunities and getting that out. So making sure that our website is easy to navigate, making sure that candidates are having a good experience because candidates that come and might not get one position often are great candidates and should come back for a different position. So it's making sure that we're customer friendly to those people too.
Shauna, for you, been here, you said 15 plus years,
Yeah.
right? In the criminal justice world, there's been cycles where there have been a lot of openings. So you've probably had opportunities even to think about it anyway, and probably looks like you decided not to go for anything else. Is there a reason why you stayed here and not pursue anything?
Yeah, for sure. And it's all the things that we've been talking about. There's so much that's good about working for Larimer County, right? So much that's good. The people are fantastic. The culture is so positive, and I've visited dozens of jails and other agencies and other facilities, and I've yet to find a facility where the culture is so positive, so forward-looking, so forward-thinking, so cutting edge as far as what is best for our community, and it's meaningful.
And won a
to
lot
me.
of awards. I mean, ASD, which is Alternative Sentencing Department, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah,
And-
correct.
And our
Yes.
community corrections are very unique.
Very unique.
And I know that we're one of the few that the correction side is done by the public sector, meaning the county. And certainly alternative sentencing is something that we did way back, and we keep getting better at it.
Yes. We've got the brand new facility for alternative sentencing. It's not brand new anymore, but it's built like 4 years ago, and that's already busting at the seams. We're doing an expansion. It opens today, actually, the expansion out there, and always new programs, always new ways of doing business, always new partnerships with the jail and community corrections and alternatives to incarceration with inmates with mental health. All of those things are so important to us, and we have always been forward ahead of everybody else in recognizing that simply incarcerating people is not the answer.
Right.
And so I'm really proud
And
to
we
be a
save
part
a
of
lot
that.
of money for the-
And we save a lot of money for the community
Yeah,
doing
we
it.
do
Absolutely.
that,
The
right.
price per head in an alternative sentencing program compared to the jail is, I
There's
don't
a
have the
big
exact
difference,
figures, but there's a
it's
significant difference.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So we're really ahead of the curve. And Pam, you're working on a very cutting edge project for us. And maybe you could talk a little bit about broadband, and that we're probably one of the first counties looking at some different ways of doing it.
Exactly. I'm just in agreement with both Brenna and Sean that Larimer County definitely walks its talk in terms of both the guiding principles and its strategic goals. The work that I do with the grant projects, including Larimer Broadband, really speak to the strategic goals of Larimer County. Larimer Broadband being one, just as I mentioned, just in response to our rural communities. And again, I lived in one for 7 years, so I had that insight of what it's like. And broadband has become such a significant concern and an issue in those areas as we grow to depend on it. It's become more of a utility and something that people really rely on.
Tell us about your brand.
What's that?
Tell us about the brand thing
About
that you came up with. I think it's perfect.
Oh, everywhere is somewhere. Yeah, that is our tagline for Larimer Broadband. Everywhere is somewhere to be connected. And we have visited a great many communities as we were looking to put this issue on the ballot. And we heard from many community members just about the concerns that they have, just in terms of, especially on the heels of 2 disasters, on the heels of economic disruptions, those types of things happening as families seek to, perhaps move out there, or residents that already live there, relying on connectivity for education, healthcare, communication, knowing when something is happening, in terms of safety in their areas. Some of the communities that I work very closely with, like Glen Haven, Red Feather, just some of those places, and Estes Park also, visiting with them, just the projects that they have with broadband. It's very important to them, and it's something that I have yet to hear a single resident of those areas say, we don't want to address this. And so Larimer County at this time is in the process of starting a feasibility study to study the issue of broadband and determine what the best way is to proceed, and then we'll go from there. So that's one of the many grant projects that we're working on, and it's it's something in addition to the other projects I work on with communities, just in terms of ensuring that we're proactive in addressing issues such as utilities, water, sewer, infrastructure, making sure that those are addressed proactively. I think the county does an excellent job and really supports our teams with doing that. So, those are I think that it provides a lot of opportunity to for we as staff members to relay just some of the observations that we make by visiting with communities and working in communities, and say, this is what's happening out there, and this is what needs to be addressed. I know that for some of our rural areas, a concern is people moving out of the area because of connectivity issues and property values because of broadband. And so it's a very big concern, along with many others. Broadband is just one in those rural areas that needs to be addressed. And then funding is, it's just the question, the ever-pressing question of where does the funding come from for these areas if they don't have a revenue stream, and there's not, how do you address infrastructure and just some of those basic things that are needed. The other opportunity that I've had working for the county is developing with our IT department the Grant Opportunities Advancing Larimer database, which houses quite a bit of grant information for some of these projects, and to help both internally and externally to look for funding, identify funding, and answer eligibility questions and things of that nature. So developing a lot of resources and tools, and it's just been very exciting to be a part of that.
That's a theme I really heard from all three of you is innovation, and with that innovation, you guys all have a lot of pride in what you do, and I think that really resonates with why we find Larimer County an enjoyable and fulfilling place to be, because we do take pride in our services, and we do take a lot of pride in what we do, right?
We certainly do.
We certainly do. So we're coming down to the end of our show here today, and I want to thank you three for being here and taking this time with us today.
My pleasure.
But this is going to be our very last That Larimer County show with Neil Gluckman, because after 38 years, the county has finally found a way to get rid of you, huh?
This is a surprise.
But 38, you are retiring at the end of August, correct? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you are retiring at the end of August.
Oh, okay.
But you have been 38 years with the county. Now that is
Why do you keep saying 38, 38,
because that is
38?
longer than I have been alive.
Okay.
So
let's clarify. I started when I was 10.
of course you did. But that's a long time, and that's quite a tenure with the county. And
Right,
obviously
tenure.
you wouldn't have stayed with the county for nearly 4 decades had you not found it an enjoyable and fulfilling place to work. So can you just take a
How
few
many
minutes?
scores have I been here?
I'm not sure. I don't know how long the score is, but can you just tell us why? Why did you stay with the county for that long, and what has made it special to you?
I think it was part of the community corrections release program that I had to be there.
Funny.
It is exactly the reasons we talked about, that and a lot of other things. And it's really true. That it was kind of, when I took the job with the county, it was going to be like until I figured out what I wanted to do type thing. So it's just kind of those, in between jobs. So here it is, 38 years later, and I still haven't figured that out. And now it's too late, I think. I haven't. So anyway, but what kept me, and I was being sincere when I said I really didn't think it was going to be my last job or only job.
The only job, huh?
Was the fact that someone like me, who likes a lot of freedom and kind of is a little bit likes to think out of the box. I'm really, like the non-traditional.
You're not your typical government employee,
No,
I should
okay.
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that I was able to. I don't know if I was able to fit in, but I was accepted.
Yeah.
And
Your
somehow
differences were embraced, right?
they were embraced. I was able, in a funny way, to get into higher positions, which was also a bit of a surprise, and
Still is.
it still is. And but the fact that me and I embraced, but I also embraced everyone that was there. I mean, for me, it was a fantastic place. The people. I mean, we always said the people that worked there, everyone. From the very first day I started to whatever will be my last day, people have always been very helpful, very supportive, and I really like the fact, again, from the very beginning, because one of the reasons I was hired for this job was to do the first strategic plan and to figure out what the county was all about and what it wanted to be, and that was a fantastic opportunity. And what that first process was to allow all employees of Larimer County to participate.
Wow.
We came up with a process that allowed that. And so they being the county employees, determined the direction we're going.
Wow.
And just to be part of that and hear all the things that our folks wanted it to be and where they wanted to go, and it was just very gratifying. And helping to be a part of building what we are today has been a very humble and experience. So
Yeah.
it's been wonderful.
Well, and I can say for everybody that works with you that we're really going to miss you, and we've learned a lot from you, and I literally would not be sitting here today without you, so I really thank you for all the leadership that you've provided all of us at Larimer County, and we're not going to be able to replace you, but I'll probably try. But I think, as you said, relationships, and we all said here that relationships are important, and that's why places are fulfilling and enjoyable.
Exactly.
And Larimer County is definitely full of really amazing, talented, great people to work with.
Yeah. And so, to use this time, I do want to certainly thank all the employees. I've worked with a number of county commissioners and elected officials, and from both parties, and I would have to say that each and every one of them have been wonderful to work with, wonderful to work for. So it's been a wonderful opportunity.
Great.
So with that, I guess we get to say goodbye.
Thank you guys for being
Thanks.
here. And
Thank you all.
And I also would like to thank Channel 14.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to forget that, doing that for probably half the time I've been here. And it's been a wonderful experience working with the crew. I mean, they are absolutely amazing. I know they don't have the largest budget in the world, but if you watch their shows, and they just do amazing things. So they're incredible. So thank you guys behind the guys behind the camera, the guys that are back there laughing in the booth.
Are we allowed to say this has been fun?
It's always fun to be with you guys.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Neil, for being here, and thank you to our three guests for coming today and talking about Larimer County's guiding principle, Neil's favorite guiding principle about Larimer County being an enjoyable and fulfilling place to work.
Fun.
Fun place to work, and thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you next time on That Larimer County Show.